1487, Central Mexico. At the summit of the great temple of Tenochtitlan, a man was brought forward. He was a warrior, a fierce warrior captured from an enemy nation. His hands were bound, but in his eyes there was no fear, because he knew that this death would sustain the world. Our story begins earlier, a day traditionally recorded as 1325. The Aztecs built a city on a small island in the middle of a lake, Tenochtitlan. In those days, no one wanted this land. Marshland, unstable ground, ill-suited for farming. But to the Aztecs, this was divine revelation. An eagle devouring a serpent atop a cactus. This was the place of prophecy. Archaeological surveys have confirmed that a city developed here from the early 14th century onward. 150 years later, Tenochtitlan had become the heart of a great empire. Its population is estimated at anywhere from over 100,000 to more than 200,000, rivaling the greatest cities of contemporary Europe. Orderly streets, magnificent markets, sophisticated aqueducts. The Aztec Empire ruled Central America from this island in the marshes, and at its center stood the Templo Mayor, the Great Temple, the axis of the universe, the home of the gods. At its summit were two shrines. To the south, Huitzilopochtli, god of the sun and war. To the north, Tlaloc, god of rain and fertility, war and agriculture. The two pillars of empire, enshrined within this single temple. To understand the meaning of this story, one must first understand the Aztec vision of the cosmos. To them, the sun was not eternal. Every morning, Huitzilopochtli fought against the darkness of night, against the stars, against the moon. Only when he won that battle did the sun rise into the sky. But this god required energy to fight, the purest source of power, the human heart. In Nahua tradition, the world was said to pass through the ages of 5 suns. The Aztecs placed this belief at the core of their state religion, declaring that the present era was the age of the 5th sun. The 4 suns before it had all perished through the failures of gods and the sins of men. The 5th sun, this world, would also end one day. There was only one way to delay that end: to keep feeding the gods their energy. Hearts. Beating, warm, living hearts. This was not savagery. Not to them. This was a cosmic obligation. But where would the captives come from? The Aztec Empire had developed its own unique form of warfare. It was called the Flower War. It was a mode of combat that prized the capture of prisoners and ritualistic purpose, though political and military aims were intertwined as well. Even so, the standards of honor among warriors were clear. Bringing an enemy back alive was valued more highly than killing him on the field. The Aztecs were not the only city-state to participate in these wars. Tlaxcala, Cholula, Huexotzinco. These cities too waged flower wars against one another. It was war, ritual, and politics all at once. What did captured warriors feel? Spanish accounts and later compiled indigenous sources describe captives who accepted their fate with ritual composure. Yet these records may carry scripted or idealized elements, and the true inner lives of those men were almost certainly far more varied. In cultures saturated with the Aztec worldview, to be offered to the gods was considered the highest of deaths. Greater than falling on the battlefield, greater than dying old and sick. But not every man likely embraced that belief in quiet acceptance. Fear, resignation, pride. Every emotion must have crossed those faces. 1487, the Templo Mayor, the rededication ceremony of the Great Temple. The Aztec Emperor Huitzilopochtli saw this as his moment to show the empire's power to the world. Rulers of neighboring nations were invited. Kings of allied states, lords of former enemies, all were summoned as witnesses. And for 4 days, the ceremonies began. Historical sources record figures ranging widely, from tens of thousands to more than 80,000. The figure of 80,000 appears in both Aztec and later Spanish records, but modern scholarship considers it likely an exaggeration. How do today's historians view this number? 80,000 in 4 days, 833 per hour, roughly 14 per minute. Was it physically possible? Among researchers, estimates range from the cautious thousands to revised figures in the tens of thousands. No single consensus exists. The question is not to pin down an exact count. The real inquiry is this: what purpose did the Aztecs and the Spanish each have in recording these numbers? Cross-referencing source criticism with archaeological findings has become the dominant approach in modern scholarship. Why did the Aztecs record such large numbers? It was a political message. Our God has received offerings of this magnitude. Do not defy us. The display of power and religious duty became one and the same. The ritual unfolded like this. Captives were brought to the summit of the temple. They were pressed onto a stone altar face up. 4 priests held down their limbs. A high priest raised an obsidian knife. Obsidian is known for producing extraordinarily sharp edges. Though brittle, a material of limited use. The extracted heart was offered to the gods. How the offering was presented varied by ritual and deity, placed before an idol, burned, or used to anoint the sacred image with blood. In the great plaza below the temple, tens of thousands looked up. They were praying. Will the sun rise again today? Will the world continue? 4 days passed. What did the visiting rulers of neighboring nations feel? According to the records, some were struck speechless. This was not merely a religious ceremony, it was a political demonstration. The Aztec Empire was sending a message: we are beloved of the gods. Our gods demanded offerings of this scale. And we answered. Cities that had considered rebellion may have reconsidered. Religion and power had become completely inseparable. The ceremony of 1487 was extraordinary in scale, but human sacrifice was a constant presence in Aztec life. Earlier estimates of tens of thousands per year have circulated widely, but modern archaeological research has also put forward more conservative figures in the thousands. What matters is this: it was carried out continuously as an act of state ritual. Conquered cities were obligated to deliver a fixed number of people to the Aztecs each year. This, too, was an instrument of domination. The unceasing obligation to surrender lives maintained submission to the empire. The treatment of captured warriors was, in some ways, unexpected. Before the ritual, the chosen were given good food, dressed in fine garments, and adorned with flowers. Why? An offering to the gods had to be perfect. Only the strongest, the healthiest, were worthy of the divine. Yet recent excavations have complicated the image of an honorable warrior's death. Skeletal analysis has revealed that the victims included not only warriors, but women and children. Aztec human sacrifice carried a far more complex reality than we might imagine. 1519. The Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés arrived at Tenochtitlan. What he witnessed left him shaken. A magnificent city, an intricate system of governance, and the temples. In his letters to the Spanish crown, Cortés recorded human sacrifice in vivid detail. When those accounts reached Europe, people recoiled in horror. Savages. They must be conquered in the name of God. But historians have since pointed to something else. Cortés wrote those accounts with strategic intent. To justify conquest. Subjugating a barbaric people and bringing them the Christian faith was a sacred mission. To that end, emphasizing the enemy's brutality was politically advantageous. In recent years, scholarship has moved beyond Spanish-language records to re-examine indigenous sources written in Nahuatl, building a more complex understanding of what the conquest truly was. 1521. Tenochtitlan fell. This conquest was not Spain's victory alone. An alliance with Tlaxcala and many other indigenous forces played a decisive role. The peoples who had suffered under Aztec rule and endured the ravages of the Flower Wars joined with the Spanish to bring down the empire. The Templo Mayor, the Great Temple, was dismantled. Its stones were used in the construction of a cathedral. A Christian sanctuary was built atop the very center of the Aztec cosmos. But the Templo Mayor did not disappear. It lay buried beneath the earth for 400 years. February 1978. In the heart of Mexico City, electrical workers were digging underground. A shovel struck something hard. What they unearthed was an enormous stone disk of the goddess Coyolxauhqui, an intricately carved disk more than 3 meters across. That discovery became the catalyst. The Templo Mayor project was launched. Slowly, the great temple that had slept beneath the earth began to emerge. The shrine of Huitzilopochtli awakened from 4 centuries of silence. The excavation revealed still more. Since 2015, a structure known as the Huitzilopochtli has been uncovered just beside the Templo Mayor. A tower of skulls. The structure that Spanish observers had recorded as a rack stacked with human heads was proven to have existed. A section of a tower, over 600 skulls bound together with mortar. And scientific analysis delivered an undeniable truth. Among those bones were not only warriors but women and children. The image of an honorable death for the brave warrior was only one face of the reality. The excavation changed the world's understanding. Well-preserved temple structures, tools used in ritual, and bones. Human bones. The archaeological evidence left no doubt. Human sacrifice had indeed taken place. But the excavation revealed something else too. The Templo Mayor was not merely a, quote, place of cruelty. It was the center of a highly sophisticated civilization. Precise astronomy, complex calendrical systems, an intricate architecture of ritual. The Aztecs sought to understand this cosmos profoundly. Simply through means entirely unlike our own. So how should we understand the Aztecs? Spanish records carry their own biases. Yet human sacrifice did take place. Context is everything. The Aztecs did not practice human sacrifice to inflict suffering. To them, it was a sacred act, the maintenance of the universe itself. At the same time, we must confront the complex reality that archaeology has revealed. Victims who included not only warriors but women and children. The practice as an instrument of political domination. To understand this is not to condone it. History must be seen through both the values of its time and the perspective of ours. 500 years since the Spanish conquest. The Templo Mayor is now open to the public as a museum. In the heart of Mexico City, beside the cathedral, the ancient temple and the new sanctuary stand shoulder to shoulder. Every November, Mexico celebrates Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, a festival to welcome ancestors, to share a meal with them once more. This celebration was born from the blending of Spanish Catholicism and ancient Aztec belief. Conquest could not erase a culture. The spirit of the Aztec people endured, transformed but alive. In the festivals, in the language, in the earth itself, and in the temple that had slept beneath the ground. Aztec human sacrifice is one of the most difficult phenomena in all of history to understand, because it was not simply violence, religious conviction, political order, a sense of cosmic obligation. These were woven together into a single institution. And as recent excavations have shown, the reality defies any simple image we might hold. Human beings are capable of terrible things in the name of belief. When they are certain they are right, they do not hesitate. Yet this history poses a question. What will people 500 years from now think of what we believe is right today? I put this to you now. History only speaks of outcomes, but those who lived it never knew how it would end. The Aztecs offered hearts to protect the sun. Their belief was sincere. Yet the empire fell. If you had been born in Tenochtitlan in 1487, could you have questioned this ritual? And if something we accept as natural today were to be seen by future humanity the same way we see Aztec human sacrifice, what would that something be? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for staying with me until the end. Aztec human sacrifice does not only ask us about the cruelty of the past, it asks us about the relationship between belief and action, and a question that transcends time itself. Here on Turning Point History, we go deep into the inner lives and decisions of the men and women who stood at history's turning points in the style of a close-up documentary. If you want to relive the most pivotal moments in human history, subscribe and turn on notifications. Until next time.